when you think about leaders having opportunities to give witness in different environments, are there certain practices that you would like to see people pay more attention to? Or are there certain, perhaps other liturgies or other rituals that you'd like us to be more questioning about? Are there certain pieces that have drawn your attention?
We want people to see as practices and rituals things that they might not thought were, right?
Okay.
So in other words, recognizing practices as practices is looking at things that you do and realize, oh, this is doing something to me, right? Because it's actually shaping me to be a certain kind of person. So when we then think about Christian formation, it doesn't just have to be kind of churchy things that would do that. There can be ways of forming Christian community and its rhythms that will transform us and kind of knock the edges off us, even if it doesn't look like a spiritual discipline that we're familiar with, right? So you can imagine a church community, for example, that commits to habits of living together in proximity to a parish. That just does something that's not going to show up in Dorothy Bass and Craig Dykstra's catalog of practices, and yet it would totally shape a way of life, because now you are basically committing to a sort of community of practice revolving around a parish that makes possible kinds of intimacy and vulnerability and proximity to one another, that I think would have surprising outcomes in what you think really matters. Right? Like it would cause you to reassess your sense of what priorities are.
What are the most important things?
Exactly.
If part of my commitment is to live in proximity to these people, then I have to say no to a bunch of opportunities. Or
exactly. It's funny. I mean, the thing I was thinking of is, and I used to be much better on this, but so for 15 years of my life, I rode the city bus to work. And one of the things that's interesting about that, it would seem like, oh, that's just something that you do, it's a convenience, but it does do something to you. Because what happens is you actually inhabit the world with a cross-section of your neighbors that you don't bump into if I just drive from my heated garage to my heated parking garage at work, which is a sort of sequestered life. And I actually do think that this contributes to the sort of coming apart phenomenon in our society, where those of means can just increasingly inhabit the world in ways that they don't ever have to see poverty. They don't ever have to see disadvantage. And I think there are practices that Christians can commit themselves to where they won't be released from that.
Right.
And that makes a difference.
Right. And put yourself in the middle of it.
Exactly.
During your commute.
The sad thing is so many of our churches are those same
I was thinking,
places.
Right. So to say our church or my life, we are going to intentionally go against the sequestration by having certain parts of our day where we are joining with folks we would not otherwise see as our neighbors.
Exactly. And it contributes to this sense of the common good because you have a sense of who's in the community.
Yeah.